Hello. Welcome to episode 6 of Smooth Dev Saturday. It's been 6 weeks talking about development fundamentals, and I hope you've been able to learn some things in the course of all this series. And I want to say a big thank you for hanging out with me once again today. This is episode 6 of Smooth Dev Saturday, where we talk about development, where we talk about getting started with development fundamentals, DevOps, and all those kind of things. And we've kind of started with all the basics of development, writing software, even before you start writing all the sort of codes in your daily endeavors as a developer. Yep. So in the last episode, we talked about web applications, and basically, there, what we did was talk about simple web pages where I showed us a demo of a web application written in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, where I explained that HTML is the structure, like the architecture of the page, and CSS is the beauty, and JavaScript is the brains or the logic behind our web pages. All right. That was last week, and also we talked about the kind of web applications. We'll talk about the front end and the back end, and I showed us APIs that I wrote. I showed us demo in ASP.NET Core, and I pushed that up. This week there'll be demos, just talk and talk and talk. Yeah, so get ready for a lot of it today. Then we also talk about hosting your websites, the options that are available for getting your websites to your users to use them. One thing I didn't touch on last week was that you can host in the cloud or on-prem. So on-prem in the case that you can provision your own server yourself. So you can decide to go cloud, which is of course advisable because of the scalability and all the added benefits that comes with it. And then of course you can host on-prem as your scenarios might be. Right. So this week, that's episode 6. We'll be talking about desktop and mobile applications. Yeah, I will not be writing code today. So I'll just be talking through it all. So, just to have a little bit of thought about what we'll be talking about, we'll be talking about frameworks and tools available for writing desktop and mobile applications today. We'll be talking about getting your application to your users, then also monitoring the usage of your applications, how users get to use every single feature that you have in your application. So, let us get started. The first thing we'll talk about is frameworks and tools. We'll talk about framework and tools. We're talking about the language you would write your mobile and desktop applications in. Now, when I talk about desktops, I mean your Windows desktop, your Linux desktop, or your Mac desktop. So this are what I mean by desktop. And when I talk about mobile, I mean anything Android, iOS, or any device you carry around with you. And of course, today you have smart TVs, you have IoT devices, you have smartwatches. Yes, you can also write apps for this thing. So I will categorize those under mobile application just for the sake of simplicity. It doesn't mean that is where they categorically fall into. Okay, so today there are hundreds of languages you can write your programs in. So I'll just mention the most popular ones that are in the industry used today, and of course your choices might not even be any of these languages or tools or frameworks I'll talk about today. That is totally fine. What I'm after is that you get the concept of what I'm trying to explain. Okay, so one of the popular languages today is Java. So with Java, you write your mobile applications. Yeah, sometimes web applications they are really strong with framework like Spring Boot. Yeah, so Java is one of those languages. Then there's Kotlin, one of the new kids on the block. There's C Sharp, which I use every single day. When I well, maybe not every single day. That I use C Sharp a lot. I use C Sharp when I want to write my mobile applications, my desktop apps, any kind of apps. I use C Sharp, for example. And then, well, there's Objective C, where you use that to write applications that are based on the iOS and Mac platform. And then we have Swift. Swift language that is used to write for iOS. So that's if you're targeting iOS alone, you could go Objective C or Swift, as the case may be for you. But if you're going cross-platform, you now talk about C Sharp, Kotlin, and then yeah, there's C++ for writing desktop and mobile applications. Yes, mobile applications. I mean that when I say it. So now talking about frameworks. Now, this language is there. Yep. Now, the day we live in now as developers is you talk about what stack are you and all those kind of stuff. And framework are just the abstraction sort of the language, like the specific application of your language to match your goal. So, a framework like Xamarin, well, tools framework, whatever you want to call it, uh, is basically that combination of languages and procedures and way that you would write your code so that it fits into the cross-platform framework. So Xamarin, the options for writing Xamarin, you can decide to go Xamarin native, as in core native now, where you write Xamarin for Android, or you go and write Xamarin for iOS specifically, or you write Xamarin for TV, Xamarin for Mac, Xamarin for whatever you want to write, Xamarin for smartwatches. Yeah, I mentioned smartwatches. And then also there's a cross-platform part of it where you can write your code and logic once and deploy to iOS and Android with the same code base. That is what we call the Xamarin Forms, where you have a shared library of code between the two platforms. So that is Xamarin. If you want to go more, just use your favorite search engine to get about all this, and you can get started with any of these frameworks and tools. Yes, and of course there's Electron.js. It's also cross-platform. You can use it to deploy apps for mobile and then desktop. Then there's React Native also. We have Flutter. So you write Flutter code in Dart, D-A-R-T. So Flutter is the framework, that is the language. Then we have Ionic as one of the languages frameworks. So that is based on TypeScript. So the next thing, now knowing about all these languages, how do you apply them? Go to your favorite search engine. There are tons and tons of videos and tutorials online you can use to go through to know how to get started with any of these languages. The purpose of this is not to teach you the fundamentals of the languages. To be honest, if I were to start with each of them, it would take us way longer than we're supposed to spend. So go on your well, go on your favorite learning sites. There are tons of them, some free, some paid. Yeah, so we have plural sites. Yeah, free weekend is coming this weekend. uh okay, it just started. So you can leverage the free trial, you can leverage the free weekends. Of course, if you have the money, go ahead and pay for it. It's a very I would recommend plural site. There's Parks, there's Udemy, there's Udacity, and of course, if you like to go free, there's YouTube that you can use to get started learning stuff. Those are not the only platforms available. If you like to read books, there are books you can buy, there are books you can get for free. One of the free platforms that I recommend is SyncFusion. So if you go for the Succinctly series, or Succinctly as your pronunciation might go, in fact, call it Succinctly, however I feel at that time. So C Sharp succinctly, ASP.NET Core succinctly, Xamarin Form succinctly. There's just a lot of it that you can go through, and it's a whole large library of those free books and resources you can use. So what I'm saying is, in this year, at this stage of tech that we are now, there is no excuse to you not being able to learn the language you want to learn. It's either there are tons of resources for it, or there's some sort of bootcamp training you can go to learn all these languages and become proficient in them and be able to make the world a better place with code. Yep. So next on the agenda is getting apps to users. So yeah, you finish writing these applications. How do you get them in the hands of the end users? And yeah, when we get to DevOps, we'll talk about all the nitty gritties of publishing automatically and all those kind of things. But currently, now what I'm talking about is some of the ways you get the apps to your users. Yeah, you get beta testers. I could remember the first application. My first installable application. It was when I was in the university where I wrote an app for my school fellowship, and it was just an audio application. And just like, oh, there's this confession we read. Why can't we make it digital? Then from then, I started making apps people can actually use. If I see that app today, maybe I'll be angry with myself. But yeah, I got it to the hands of users. People used it and a lot of it. I got to install it on a lot of people's systems. It was kind of fun then. I wrote it. Yeah, I wrote it in WPF. I can clearly remember. I know those boring, ugly colors I used. But it was real fun. So, how do you not get your apps to your users? There are many ways. So, if you work in an enterprise setting, um, so that's the internal org. There might be policies you have to go through to get these apps to these users. So if you work in an enterprise environment, you might want your target users might be your internal organization. So you need to know what it entails to be able to publish to your internal app store or network or Intune, whatever the enterprise framework you're using looks like. So and of course, if you write apps for Windows, there's the Windows Store. If you write apps for iOS devices, iPad, iPhones, Apple Watch, Apple TV, maybe, I'm not sure. Please don't kill me, but I know for iPad and iOS. So let me limit it at that. So you can publish them to the Apple App Store. And then, of course, if you write for Android, the Google Play Store is there for you to publish your application. Well, actually, good news. I published an app like few days ago. In few days, I will try to get the iOS version out, so you might just check it out. Let me try to open my browser here and see if I can show that to you. Now, this is sort of an advert. Yeah, I'm making the advert on my show, so yeah, I gotta do that. So, um, okay, Google Play Store. Just a moment, I wanted to come up here before I put it in your faces. Yep, so I just gotta. So if you go to your Google Play Store, and you search for Shakat. So I'm just showing you this to show how easy it is to get the App Store. I just finished writing the app. There's some automated ways I did stuff to be able to push to the Google Play Store. So this is the app here. iOS version is coming pretty soon. So guys that use iOS, please be uh just hold on, okay? It's coming out for you. I'm launching the website also pretty soon, but there's a preview of that coming up. So yeah, so when we get to the DevOps part of this show, we will actually walk through every single step I took from writing my code to putting in telemetry and then doing automated publishing to the Google Play Store. Maybe we'll touch on the Apple Store also, maybe also the Windows Store. So how I automated all this process, and then it makes me happy as a developer. I could do versioning, I could do rollbacks and stuff like that. All right, so going on, so the next thing I would like to talk about is monitoring usage of your application. So you got your application ready, it's in the hands of your users now. How do you get uh, feedback on how the application is performing? Yeah, I will not delve much into the details here, but I want to go to the DevOps part. I will show you. I also made this to use a tool called App Center, so you might want to just stay tuned because I probably will be in the next sub series that I will be taking. So you might want to check that out. Monitoring the usage of your applications. Of course, you've written it. You get the engineers of users. How do you know how your application is performing? I will deal with all that in that. So on the next episode um what we'll be talking about is working with databases. So I'll introduce us to some of the most used databases and some of the newer, much cooler databases. Yeah, I will not be going way in depth into them, but I'll demo them for us to actually show us how they work. So yeah, so stay tuned. Next episode, it might be a little bit longer than we've been having for the past 2 weeks. Yeah, I admit it may be. So please stay tuned. Next episode is gonna be real fun. Working with databases. Yeah, I'm not a database expert, I must confess, but at least I could still, do some stuff. So next episode, make it a date. We will be live with you. Well, when I say we, I mean me, myself, and I. So make it a date next week. Follow me up on all these channels as you that you're on. Follow my website. Yeah, I'm actually doing a rebranding of the website. Also, follow me on Twitter, Twitch, Mixer, YouTube, and also, um, sometime later this month, I will be starting officially. I'll be starting my podcast called This Dev Life. Now, what will I be talking about on this podcast? I'll be talking about developer life. So I've been writing code for like 9 years now. How did I come through all this journey? I'll be having guest appearances. I'll be having friends actually that I have friends that showed interest in actually hosting this with me. So they sometimes it will be my voice you'll be hearing. Sometimes it will be their voices. Sometimes there'll be guest interviews on this show. So basically, what we'll be talking about is the life of developers. How do we work every single day? What challenges do we face? And how do we solve these challenges? That is what we will be talking about on this Dev Life podcast. So you can bookmark this link. Oh, not what I wanted to do. That's window plus. Pardon me. So you might want to check out that. Yep. You might want to check that out. Anchor.fm slash this dev life. You might really want to check that out. So till I come your way next episode, please be good, keep learning, keep making awesome stuff happen. Thanks very much for staying with me. Bye.